2019 higher level orthographic projection question 1 in a junior cert exam paper. Okay, so in this question I'm just going to run through a couple of the key aspects to watch out for that are very consistent in coming up in these junior cert orthographic projection questions. Okay, so the first thing you have to decide on is positioning. So depending on which side the arrow B is looking at, your end view will either be on the right or on the left. Okay, in this situation it's going to be on the right hand side, so we've elevation, plan and end view position like that. Okay, so very important that your plan is directly underneath your elevation, and then you project up 45 degrees to get you your positioning for your end view. Okay, so you follow and draw as much of the elevation as you can. Once you hit a space where you can't go any further, you move on to your next view. Okay, so in this question, thing to watch out for is this little freehand curve here. Okay, so how do we get the points, the reference points for that? So we get that by dividing the circle up 60-30, because what's happening here is a cylinder is meeting a sloping surface. Okay, so that's the cylinder that's looking straight at the cylinder, that's looking at the side of it. So when we look down on top of it, what will it appear like? Okay, so we need to get a couple of reference points here. So divide up 60-30, bring those points across onto this sloping line here, and then from there we project them down. We then bring them down over 45 degrees and across. So this point here, for example, I just call that point A. Okay, so down, across and over, across and down. Okay, so A across over, that's where A ends up being. Okay, so again, you come across until you hit your sloping line, you drop down here, you come over 45 degrees, and then you come across until you, and where the two of them cross gives you your point A. You do the same for B, C, D, E, and then your far left and far right point we already have there, and there. Okay, so that's one thing to watch out for. The second thing we need to look at is hidden detail in plan. So this little semicircle is the hidden detail because there's a lip above, kind of jotting out here. So the screen, the windscreen of that whatever it is, caterpillar, is going to be the dotted detail here in plan. The last thing that you will also be asked for in a question like this is you'll always be asked to find the true shape of a certain surface. Okay, so in this instance it's surface S. Okay, so we can see its true shape in elevation and we can see its true shape in end view. Okay, so you have two methods of doing this. I always use an auxiliary method. You could also use a rebattement method, so whichever one you want to use is fine. Okay, so what I do is I want to look straight at this surface, so I project an auxiliary parallel to it. I project perpendicular. Where I put that auxiliary line doesn't make any difference. I can put it here or I could put it up into the drawing here, but I always kind of try and keep it off the views if possible. Okay, where do I get my heights from? So this point, that point, and that height and that height are the heights that I need, and that gives me the true shape of surface S. Okay, so that's the main aspect of it. 2019 orthographic projection question 1, fairly straightforward example of it, and as always you're finding a freehand curve here and you're finding your true shape of a surface S. That comes up in all of these questions. Okay.